Hi, I'm Sandra, the creator at Sing Play Create, and this is Sing Play Create Teaching Tips. Welcome to the channel. Today's activities are going to be games and activities for Halloween with beat and rhythm cards. These activities are in the Sing Play Create free resource library, and they are super effective activities. I've got some flashcards you can make to use in your classes to help students learn beat and rhythm. Nice little ghosties. So these are just a sample of some of the things that you'll find in the resource library, and I just printed them on cardstock, and then you can use these in your centers, in whole group classes, and lots of games, and I'm going to give you some of those ideas today. So be sure to go get that freebie from the Sing Play Create free resource library. Activity number 1. In kindergarten, it's really nice to have a bunch of these thematic type steady beat charts printed out and laminated, and then you make enough for every student in the class. And then this isn't double-sided, but you can double-side them, so you could have a fall one on this side and then have the Halloween on this side. And that way, when you are teaching the steady beat, instead of having students, there's so little, they're looking up and they're trying to follow on your PowerPoint, you can give them these cards, and it really helps because then they have something for their hands and they like them, and so then they can go and you can have them tap like this, and then you can walk around the room and watch them tapping, you know, while the music's playing. And this type of activity is a really good pre-activity to, like, passing bean bags on the beat or bouncing a scarf on the beat. So you could use this as the transition into a steady beat activity. You could have any music like stirring and stirring and stirring my brew, or there was an old woman all skin and bones. You use any of your Halloween favorites and have the students tap the beat first. And then you could segue into either a beanbag activity where they're passing the same song and they're passing a beanbag, or they're bouncing their scarf with the same music. So they're going to get two different ways to be learning the steady beat from one song and just using this simple laminated printout. Activity number 2. I use a hand drum for this game because I like to walk around the classroom, and you'll need some rhythm cards for this, and you can just print these out, and you're going to give everybody a different rhythm card. And the goal is for them to get in groups of 4, and then they're going to put their rhythm cards together like this, 4 of them, and then they're going to say and play them in their group. But the way you're going to play the game is just give everybody a card, and then I use a cue, like I'll say I'm going to tap a rhythm on the drum, and that means go. And so then they're going to go and they're going to find somebody, and then I just play a beat. And you could even say I'm going to play 16 beats, so then they're counting. You could do that too with the upper grades. And then you play the beat, and then when you do the cue again, well, I don't know, remember what I did the first time, but play a cue, and then they have to stop. And they have to find someone, the closest people to them, and sit down. It is a little hard to do. I wouldn't recommend this if your students aren't used to getting into groups. So that is just a tip. But the other thing you could do is you could put a number on the back of this, and you could say, okay, everybody that has a 1, you know, hold your card up and get in the group with the number 1s. Everybody with the number 2, get in a group with the 2s, and then have them sit down. So that way you could play that game even in 3rd grade if you put the numbers on the back of the cards, and then you just want to use 4 of each number. So you'd have 4 1s, and they have to find each other, sit down. Then you could remix the cards or have them trade with another group so they have everybody has different numbers, and then play that game for a little while. It's a good mixer. It's a good way to shake things up. It's a good brain break. It could segue into a rhythm play along. It could segue into playing instruments, like maybe the rhythms that you're using is the song they're going to be playing. So if you have a song you're working on, you choose the rhythms that are in the song. You have the students do the mix-up game, and then they can go and play the song using those rhythms. So I think it's a really good practice. It also could be for assessment, but I like to use it for the instruments where they're moving on to something that uses these rhythms. Activity number 3. This is another easy game you can play just with these same rhythm cards. You're only going to use 4 cards. And you don't want to use the half note unless you're only going to use 3 cards. So you're going to want 4 1-beat cards or a half note with 2 cards. So that's how you're going to play the game. So you need just 4 beats. And what you're going to do is have everybody sit in a circle, and you're going to take the 4 cards and you're going to start passing them around the circle and ask the students to pass them on the beat. And I always like to get them all out and have them go all the way around before I stop. And then I'll have my drum and I will play the drum beat for them so they're passing on the beat. And then when I stop, they stop, and whoever has the 4 cards jumps to the middle of the circle. They lay their cards down, they put them in an order, and then they say and play them for the class, and then the class echo plays those rhythms back together. If you teach your students this game and play it enough so that they know how it goes, like they could manage it without you, this is a great substitute lesson because the kids can self-play it. They aren't going to need a teacher to understand the directions. They're pretty easy, so the sub is going to be so happy the kids are playing this game and they're actually learning. You could take it up another level with this game and put instruments in the circle, 4 instruments, and they play it on the instruments. And that's just another fun way for your 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders to practice rhythms while playing a game. Don't forget, these rhythm cards are free in the Sing, Play, Create free resource library. I highly recommend that you laminate them. So what I would do is I would print the cards, cut them up, get them laminated, and then I had just simple Ziploc bags, 1 for each month. And then that way I had all these rhythm activities ready to go. They don't take a lot of preparation, and they're fun games, and you can use them in a whole class. But then once the whole class learns it, you can easily put these in a station so the kids could pass the cards, and even though there might be 4 students playing the game together, they're going to get a different card each time they put the rhythms together, and you might give them rhythm sticks or a fun instrument to play those rhythms on. It's just another great way to practice reading and saying and playing the rhythms. Activity number 4 is also pretty easy. This is one you can play in small groups, even with 2 people. So let's say you just want to do a quick rhythm review because you're going to teach them a song and they need to know TT or Teary Teary, 16th notes or 8th notes. So you're going to put these in your stack and stack the cards up, and you need to have enough so that they have, if there's only 2 of them playing, so they might need 8 cards in it. And then what they're going to do is they're going to flip it over, and they're going to just say and play that rhythm to their buddy. And they're just going to take turns. And it's very simple, but it's super effective, and it's just a warm-up to another activity. So you're just getting them back in music land and ready to go play music or do a rhythm play along. What I like about these kind of activities is that it gives them a chance to do something one-on-one with another student or in a smaller group, and you are able to walk around the room and just check on people how they're doing and if they get it. Then later, like I've said, I always try to do these activities so that we are building skills to do them in stations. So then you could have a pair and share station, is what I call this game, just pair and share. And they can just pair and share these rhythms. You could have a guide if you need to help them along. But that way you've taught them how to do it in the whole class, and then you've given them the chance to do it in a station. Activity number 5. This is also super easy. You need a lot of flashcards for this activity. So you're going to want to make enough so that everyone can have 4 cards of the type of cards that you're working with. So if you're teaching 3rd grade and up, you can use quarter, 8th, 16th, and if you want to use like the half note cards, and I also have whole note cards, then you can use those too. So what you're going to do is everybody's going to have 4 cards. They're going to put them in an order, and they're going to say and play them. And you're going to ask them to do it 4 different ways. and you could give them instruments, you can have them clap it, you can use this game easily for an assessment. So you could be sitting at a table or on the floor, you could have each student come up and draw 4 cards, and then they could show you what they play while the other students are creating rhythms of their own. You could have a stack of cards for them, and let's say you have 5 rows of kids. So you could make a stack of cards for maybe each of those rows. So if they have done their 4 a couple times, they can just quietly get up and trade cards and just keep playing their rhythms. I like to use instruments for that kind of activity because I feel like it keeps their attention longer when they get to play an instrument, and that way you can call the students up, you can have them say and play the rhythms while everybody else is having fun playing. Yes, it's a little noisy. You can tell them you're going to work on dynamics too, and we're going to be playing pianissimo, you know, and just make a big deal of it and see if they can play pianissimo so you can hear the other students playing their rhythm. I think those kind of games are a lot of fun. I hope they work for you. Don't forget, you can go get this set of free rhythm and beat activities and cards in the Sing Play Create free resource library. I would love to know how you have used them in your classroom. Drop me a comment below so that you can share your way that you use these cards, because I'm sure there's millions of ways to use these flashcards, and if they worked for you in your elementary music classroom. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Thank you so much. I hope you'll subscribe to this channel, and let's keep kids moving and learning with music.
Sing, play, create.